Welcome everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I actually have, I'm just going to do a quick union read that I did last night. I was actually up all night, so please bear with me because I haven't slept a wink. I have a short union read I'm going to show you, and then I have two Divine Masculine reads. They're not really long ones, so they won't be as long as yesterday. So I'm going to get right to it. I do want to show you the reads first. So this is the union read. Okay. This is the first Divine Masculine read, which was done like midnight last night. And that's the full read from last night. Okay. And then this is the read in front of you. Well, the second read from today. Okay. Oh, I wanted to show you the sunshine too. I was just outside taking a picture. Look how pretty the sun is today. That's the picture. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. Hold on, that side doesn't sound right. Just a little bit of clearing. Everybody take a deep breath. It's April 6th, 2020 today. And this union read was done last night. It was done at 12, 18, and 19 last night. So 18 is the moon, 19 is the sun, and the 12 is the hangman. And as you all know, we're coming up upon Easter and the full moon, and then the new moon on the 22nd. So there's a lot going on here as far as energies. There's always a lot of information that comes up around the Jesus and Mary Magdalene template this time of year because of Easter. And so it's no different this year. But this might even be more significant, because I'm wondering if this year marks the start of the 1,000 years of enlightenment. So I was just thinking about that this morning. But the union, the underlying energy was the Eight of Cups, and the central energy was the King of Swords, right? The logical man very much represents the Divine Masculine, walking away and within, the King of Swords being the logical man. The feminine energy coming into the read was the Transition card, which is the portal in the SIRIAN Starseed deck, the Nine of Pentacles, and the Guidance card, which is like the Hierophant. So the portal of transition of sovereignty to commitment in the Garden of Eden, alone, or perhaps with Taurus energy or guidance, because it is the Guidance card in this deck. When the student is ready, the teacher will come. And Scorpio versus Taurus was coming up there. So in the 3D line for that union read, the horizontal lines are 3D, 4D, 5D, and the vertical lines are the feminine, the middle is the bridge, and the right is the masculine. And then the cards coming into the read are the divine feminine, the cards going out of the read, the masculine, and the underlying energies at the top, and the final summary card at the top on the right. So the 3D was the Ace of Wands, Knight of Pentacles, and Seven of Wands. So the Divine Feminine with new passion, the Divine Masculine with the Phoenix rising, and bridging by proposal of help to each other. The Divine Feminine, perhaps one big flame, and the Divine Masculine dealing with a bunch of little ones, rising above the drama while holding the Divine Feminine, or the Divine Feminine is holding him above the others, and he needs to offer help. The loyal servant and also bodyguard services were coming up as well. But it's also coming up, you'll see a lot where the feminine's above the masculine because of the resurrection. Because you'll see Jesus and then Mary Magdalene on the cross with him, helping him at the time of his rebirth, basically. So the 4D line across was the Two of Swords, King of Swords, and Five of Pentacles, the Divine Feminine knowing and floating in her knowing in the 4D, the Divine Masculine in the Mary Magdalene cave, in exile, apart from the group, and like him saying, where are you? Like, I came to the Mary Magdalene cave, where are you? There with no light, or the Divine Feminine, or that could be the divine feminine on his side in exile, waiting above the group that he's affiliated with. The bridge being the King of Swords, knowing the truth, but keeping her in the dark about it. Keeping away from the dark group, not realizing they can't touch her, right? Because the feminine is sealed, right? The 5D, Indigo, 3 of Wands, and the 7 of Cups. The divine feminine, Indigo, propose. The divine masculine takes steps, 7 by 2s, right? The 72 that go forward in pairs, or the 144,000. And then climbing the Washington Monument I was getting to get to the diamond light. The polished bridge. I was getting the diamond light and then ... polished. The bridge is by the 3 of Wands, being present to the flame and opening, both of them, opening their hearts to co-creation together, and that's in the 5D. The divine feminine was blast off, then floating like a cadet in space, like the space cadet, and then the indigo with the diamond light, a whole different thing in 5D with the rebel child, because the indigo is the rebel. So remember 4D is all about, love and kindness, but 5D isn't about all love and kindness, it's about authenticity first, all right? So it's a whole different world. The bridge here is the Knight of Pentacles proposing with crystal, then a stone, and then the torch. He must keep trying until he gets it right. The diamond light. Then on the divine masculine side is rising above the flames to tango, perhaps a lesson, and then rescue Mary Magdalene from the cold, dark cave, and then carry her up the stairway to heaven, 7 by 2, on the chariot with 2 psychics inside of it, equaling the angels in heaven ascending. But he keeps going instead of stopping at 5D. Right? So she's waiting for him to be present at 5D, but because he's not being present and he's an overachiever, he keeps going past the 5D to work his way up to heaven. He thinks he's going to work his way all the way to the top to get some backstage passes or something, right? So always overachieving, not learning his lesson. So the divine masculine going out of this was the masculine's heart in the bat cave with new love for connection. The 2 of Cups and the Ace of Cups were here. And then Ascension, and then the World Cup, right? Him overachieving, and then he the world, and she holds the world. So he's the world, and he's seeing this, that he's the world, and she holds the world in her hand. And it's very cool the way this read came up. So going through the portal with the divine masculine's heart, the sovereign and the new love, and the guidance of 2, from walking away and within to out to the world. Going within to grab the world by the balls, and the divine masculine going within, and the divine feminine coming out. The divine masculine offering crystal, but the divine feminine took the flame. And when the divine feminine's inner knowing, the divine masculine feels in his feminine left out in the cold. He being the logical man on the bridge when the divine feminine proposes, and he ignoring her to go even higher. The gift, though, is the moment of the heart open to the third energy with or without his presence. So this was basically Spirit telling the feminine, if he does go above you and not stay present to actually see you in 5D, to meet you there, that you go on with the third energy and do your mission work, with or without his presence there. He gets lost in the clouds or gets ungrounded. He's going straight to the top to get backstage passes for them to the world stage. Okay, so now that we start with and it's 9 minutes, we're starting the first Divine Masculine read. So this one was done, the SIRIAN Starseed deck was cut at 1:33 a.m. last night, and then 1:57 it was done. So 33 is the Christ vibration, and 57 is the 3 of Swords, right, the 3-way heartbreak. And the 1, of course, is the Magician. We had the Wheel, the Shadow, which is the Devil, Alchemy, which is Temperance, Ascension, which is the World, and Reason, which is the Emperor. And before the read with the Lovers come up, after the read the Tower came up. Now remember, this is a general read. If it doesn't resonate with you, don't force it to fit. It's for a lot of people, so some of the messages are not going to fit into your situation. And also, don't forget it is a Divine Masculine Twin Flame read, so it will affect the Divine Masculine within the Feminine as well. So besides the major arcana here, we had 2 pentacles, 1 sword, 1 cup, and 2 wands. And the 9 of pentacles was there too, which is the sovereign energy. The court cards were the page of wands. And then before the read, we had the queen of cups, and after the read is the king of pentacles. So a king, a queen, and a page. We had double 4s and double 7s last night in the read. 44 is the mastering, the 4 of cups, grounding, integrating, and mastering of love, especially receiving love. And then the 77 again of the sovereign. The other numbers that came up were 34, the 8 of wands, the 7 of the chariot, the 9 of the hermit, the 23 of the king of wands, 47, the 7 of cups, 45, the 5 of cups, 67, the knight of pentacles, and then 89, which is the reflection of the human temperature, which has to do with polarizing your temperature, either getting mad or getting cold, right? Getting hot or getting cold. All right, so the code line last night was about intuition and karmic completion. Intuition and karmic completion. So satellite TV was definitely coming up, and the 7 of orbs, which is in this deck, it's the passing of downloads. But for me, the 7 of swords card is really about inherent risk. So it doesn't have to be the liar, cheat, or thief. It just has to do with taking risks. So there could be some risky business going on here. The second read here had a lot of weird, like, death stuff coming up. So if you don't want to hear about that stuff, you might not want to watch the second one. But it's very interesting, actually. So I wouldn't advise not watching it because I thought it was very interesting. But if you think that kind of stuff will trigger you, might not want to watch that one. So the code line about intuition and karmic completion was talking about the telepathic communication between the masculine and feminine, but also satellite TV was coming up here, and the bridge to I am presence in seeing the key of risk as intuition and karmic completion. So SA, that acronym was coming up again today, which literally all the definitions incorporate everything, like to know, to come, to take, to dawn, to convey, to fall, everything except for to be or not to be. That is the question. So an acronym VEIG also came up, which means drink or drought, which had to do with a draft, like draft beer. So alcohol is coming up, and actually I don't even know when the last time I had a drink was, but I think I'm going to have a little bit of wine today. There's a message there. And to be or not to be, that is the question. And then television, right, your connection. So the telepathic bridge. And earned income credit was coming up again, but also can reference earned I credit, your I am presence credit, getting credit for, staying in your I am presence. The masculine seeing the key or seeking the divine feminine energy within himself to deal with the risky downloads that equal the combination of chariot of logic, right? Because the chariot's all about the etheric realms and ascension upward. So when you can combine the logic with the etheric connection, that's when you ground intuition with karmic completion. So fire and rain was coming up, and the TV bridge, the gateway, and the risk, and the draft. So that can reference any kind of draft as well. Draft like a breeze that's coming in, or the military draft, or just draft drinks. And so SAT was also coming up. So I don't know when the SATs are exactly, but that was coming up. And that just, again, the feminine energy is the key here for the masculine, the 7 of orbs, to take a risk regarding their intuition and karmic completion. And the headers online came up. The first one, the header was Adelaide TV Guide, which is an Australian. It's yourtv.com.au. All TV show times. It was just a TV guide station there. So Adelaide, that's a name. And I told you the feminine names were coming up like crazy the other day. So Adelaide comes up here. Also, orbs were coming up, that they are among us. And this was an IMDb and RottenTomatoes.com. Both brought it up. Regarding Apollo 11 and Wilbur's experience that haunts him 37 years later. So if you're interested in that, you might want to check it out. And notice the numbers. 21 is the world in completion, and the world, what's going on right now, and the 37 of the King of Cups, unconditional love. Also, another header came up was The Widow, which is a TV series from Wiki. And then Bangla Natak, Tumi Akotai. And then it was EP292. That came up. I think it was Bangladesh from YouTube. And then Revelation 1:20 came up. The mystery of the 7 stars that you saw in my right hand, and of the 7 golden lampstands in this.
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you. Could you please repeat what?
So I'm going to repeat it because it's repeated anyway. The 7 stars are the angels of the 7 churches, and the 7 lampstands are the churches. And then the last header that came in was Simple Things 07 album. By the way, that was BibleGateway.com. 07 album from Wiki, and that was 42301. And then number 28 came up there as number 28 on the UK chart, and it was on there for 56 weeks. So 56 came up as well. The 2 of Swords being in your knowing. So again, SATV, which isn't just satellite TV, it's actually satellite antenna television, but also South Asian TV. It's also a music library and a software assurance training voucher from Microsoft. And it also means subcutaneous adipose tissue volume, which has to do with fat volume. All right, so definitely was looking up a little bit about the subcutaneous fat tissue volume bridge regarding the code line here, and the key risk factors regarding and how that might connect to intuition and karmic completion, or how it might connect to the pineal gland. And then after I wrote some of this stuff down, I went to write down the time, and it was 3:14, which is pi. And my daughter's birthday. And my dad worked at Einstein for 22 years. Okay, so under subcutaneous fat, which is an endocrine organ, leptin came up as something of significance as in the articles that came up here. The master hormone produced from adipose fat, regulatory hormones of the metabolism, and secreted by this fat tissue, mostly in the abdomen. So leptin is key. Also, zinc was coming up, and high leptin, of course, so high fat, just like high fat, causes diabetes and heart disease, obesity, and osteoporosis. And also appetite becomes erratic and unstable, and then just cause you to gain more weight. So controlling leptin is done by lowering insulin. So to lower both of them are the obvious things. You know, it's cut down your sugar and make sure you're eating enough protein. And also they were talking about eating by your metabolic type. So some of you might be interested in getting your metabolic. It's under metabolichealing.com. So you might want to get your metabolic type. And also they were talking about an exercise. You might want to do spurt running. Like, so if you jog, you know, do 30-second spurts during your run, or pushes. And then zinc mediates some of this stuff too. So you might want to experiment with that as a supplement regarding the pineal gland. So, and the melatonin is mainly regulated by the norepinephrine. Norepinephrine. And so they had stimulated melatonin. They've noticed when they did this in ewes, that using the leptin, it stimulates melatonin during short days, but suppressed the melatonin during the long days in these ewes that they used in this experiment. So that's all I really got from that. But I just was wondering, like, there's any connection to the pineal gland, and if we can figure out some kind of connection there. And it was just interesting that the fat was coming up. So we may actually discover something that's connected there in the future. So we started this first read at the 9 of Pentacles reversed, like I said, at 3:14 at pi. Powerless, no longer single, or not feeling single, or just powerless, or being financially drained, after the Queen of Cups disconnects by walking away without a fight, or just a losing battle. Rising above or awake and coming out, the Empress reversed of perhaps a wealthy or abundant family is left out in the cold or turned away, unable to visit. And it was like going to visit like a parent or something where you couldn't go to see them because of the rules right now. Insecure magician is unable to sleep in a bold move to ascend together to emotional fulfillment with the King of Wands. Virgo reversed, perhaps awoke, and Cancer above Taurus reversed, and the Ten of Cups is over the Ten of Pentacles family. The two families are represented right above each other. And the King of Wands is over the exile or destitution. Taurus reversed, perhaps with a rich family, and is left out. Virgo, Cancer with emotional fulfilled family with the King of Wands. So here they're bringing up two families and the energies around each of them. The Ten of Cups family and the Ten of Pentacles family. So Virgo, Cancer energies here were bridging to the King of Wands. And again, I'm going to tell you the different families because that might come up in the read again so you can keep track. So the emotional fulfillment always has to do with the Ten of Cups. And that's coming up with the King of Wands, also Virgo energy who's awake, and Cancer above Taurus. Ten of Cups is over the Ten of Pentacles with the King of Wands over the people left out in the cold, which are coming up with the Ten of Cups. And that can represent a business or just the world in general as well. But Taurus reverse was coming up with the wealthy family and left out. So that's the Ten of Pentacles family as well. So Taurus is related to that. Virgo, Cancer with emotionally fulfilled family with the King of Wands were all coming up on that line. So again, Virgo, Cancer bridges to the King of Wands. Clarity in the end of war and finding peace in the awakening, rising above, and the King of Swords with negative self-talk or rumors or even silent treatment in a new life, dealing with sunshine, happiness, and exposure, and perhaps insecurities at 328, which is the Empress and the Two of Wands. New life of clouds rolling by, riding white horses like Bo Derek, freestyle, insecure about new life in the sunshine. And what it's like to really be free, right? So it's an insecurity. Some people are so used to being stressed out and miserable all the time that it's stressful for them to even think about a fun and relaxing life. So at 3:32, and again, this was last night in the middle of the night because I didn't sleep all night. 3 is the Empress and 32 is the Six of Wands. So needing to learn about manifesting the sun and the central sun, or even, defining what it is, doing some research about the ascension process. The Nine of Pentacles and the Magician reversed, both afraid in the aftermath of sudden events. Coming together to come clean and get clean. Leo may be packing or folding laundry again to avoid disaster or avoid dealing with things. Sneaking out while the Leo or ego is busy, resisting changes, the universe now forcing their hand. Pacifying the beast or the cat again, petting his head while down on all fours and tail between legs, coming clean to Leo or Scorpio after the fact, lying with their butt up in the air, mouth open and panting, while he sneaks out to catch up on the crucifixion and the resurrection, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, buttercup yellow. Make the effort came up for the masculine, and beneath that was past life relationship. And then negative talk. A lot of negative talk and rumors were coming up in this read as well in front of you. Negative talk and rumors and spying and lies and just the silent treatment stuff. The Empress reversed and the King of Wands upright with no leg to stand on. The evil Empress, so again I have the two energies from the Tarot Sexual Magic. The Empress is the evil Empress, and the regular Empress, I'll just say the Empress. So the evil Empress reversed without shield or wand or snake, so she doesn't have her usual devices, and the King of Wands with Mary Magdalene frustrated prior to their reunion. The Page of Swords reversed with the Empress reversed, and the Page of Wands reversed, frog to prince, with the King of Wands and Mary Magdalene with a gift. Playing her fiddle in natural boots, and the Page of Wands reversed frustrated with growing pains of how to get from the frog to the prince, as only the King of Wands can have reunion with the Divine Feminine, or with the evil Empress, who's red, he just smacks her behind and it's done. But Mary Magdalene yellow love is different. It takes time and love. So self-discipline came up, which is number 41. And then creativity was beneath that, which is number 3. So 41 is the Ace of Cups, and 3 again is the Empress. So that's coming up big time because of Gaia, okay? So because Mother Nature, because, you know, Gaia's now gotten a break since we stopped everything, which never happens across the planet, right? So the planet actually got a break to actually recover herself. So implementing a plan, not working, or getting wish of prison with third party. Maybe someone would be happy to be out in the cold with the third party. And the 353 is, again, the Empress and the Knight of Swords coming in. The Queen of Pentacles, expressing feelings and energetic exchange, and Arrows of Love and expressing feelings. Perhaps indigo and purples under emerald green, and maybe seeing those colors, like when the masculines are practicing their meditations, maybe seeing the emerald green and purples maybe coming up here is making him cry. Humility before royalty, and it's also him referencing what he sees in the feminine. So humility before royalty and the use of the third eye, the heat is on. A cup may be hanging from the ceiling with the ripple effect, reaching through the glass ceiling successfully. The masculine so excited, he's keeping his tears back because he finally broke through. The Queen of Pentacles with peacock eyes, scholarly pursuits, and undercover royalty to boot, and an energetic exchange while others counting sheep. Arrows of love and pangs of heartbreak. Telling the feminine to go wash her hair, go get her hair done, to have some pride, or to just make you feel good, to strut your stuff, to fan your tail with your eyes, and be your biggest fan, because I am. Be ready for when I arrive at 4:06, which then was the date, because today's 4/6, and this was at 4:06 this morning, which is the Emperor and the Lovers. Okay. So at 4:09, expressing feelings of energetic exchange, powerless to feelings and arousal, the masculine reading, communicating with the Divine Feminine, but also insecure in the aftermath to make the effort to come together in reunion. So I'm definitely getting the masculine reaching out to communicate. So really pay attention to what you're hearing and seeing, because you may be connecting with your masculine. They need to trust. You know, they still are scared to come forward because they don't know if that you'll accept them when you come forward. Just that the masculine has to understand it's going to take a minute for the Divine Feminine to acclimate to just feeling okay in the situation. You know, it just takes time. So they have to be okay with the feminine getting upset a little bit. I mean, that's just normal, but not to be scared of it. So the recent past here is alchemy upright, with truth presented to the prisoner holding on to the student, the Page of Pentacles energy, of breaking patterns with the Queen of Pentacles. Destined Knight of Pentacles reversed, perhaps destined to be still. We have the Knight of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles here were positioned on top of each other, but with their directions were facing each other. The Knight of Pentacles was on top, the Queen of Pentacles on the bottom. So destined to be still right here, especially with the Knight of Pentacles reversed, to be out in the cold together. Lovers coming clean in the aftermath of not so sudden events, the truth, the whole truth, to avoid disasters. Not needing sovereignty or to be the wizard, insecure and resisting the urge to come together in self-disconnect. And this, then the number 41 came up here. It's actually self-discipline. 41 is the Ace of Cups, which is always about self-love. So it's saying there's like a communication energy between the masculine and feminine here, where you're saying you don't need to be sovereign, right? We need to have to depend on each other with some things in a relationship. You don't need to be the wizard. You don't need to be insecure and resisting the urge to come together. in self-discipline or in connection to your higher self, self-love. So the foundation is the shadow reversed, the judgment, the announcement, the wake-up calls, causing a heated exchange with the Hierophant or Taurus energy, delays in communication and travel, detoxing grief and finding peace after all that's said and done, and I guess post-completion, but I was getting post-haste, which that never comes up for me, so that came up for somebody. Grieving Aquarius has peace without expressing their feelings, so they're coming up as a more detached person, this Aquarius. After a fight with Taurus, Hierophant, religion, or establishment. The central energy here for the masculine is the wheel upright, and the wheel was upright in both reads. Starting over, destined to detox and carry the weight and work hard toward coming together with the Queen of Cups in a game of Clue with synchronicities. Happy together, the wounded warrior challenged by holding back on passing downloads. It's like taking a break on the downloads so they can actually just keep things to themselves and not have everybody know what they're planning on doing. So everyone can't see what we're doing right now, okay? So frustrated child within the King of Wands, man, and dependent, powerless, and it's in your hands. Home with the Queen of Wands, disconnected, holding back their desires. The Knight of Pentacles reversed, still post-war, hanging out, seeing new perspectives, and just being still and wise. So, let's see here. The Queen of Swords and the King of Swords were side by side here. And I think they came up side by side twice in the first read. I don't know if they were, how close they were in this read. I'll have to look. But the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords were coming up side by side in two different places. Patient angels of the dream legacy, family or business, but with inequity, of the Hermit reversed being Scrooge, or just holding on, perhaps. Now I'm blanking out on the word. Sorry, I have trouble retrieving anyway, and now I'm tired. But hoarding, perhaps hoarding a little bit. But with the gold coin and dropping the facade, taking the mask off, breaking patterns. Now was the world reversed. In her hand, the feminine, happy with themselves and getting their wish, handling the third energy. With the Emperor reversed, abusing his power or his words, perhaps making fun of you, but in a lighthearted way. The Emperor reversed, powerless, working with the King of Cups, mastering unconditional love, and that's at 439, which is the Emperor and the Knight of Cups. Looking back at the unhappy family and an ending and expressing feelings with the Queen of Pentacles at 441, which is the Emperor and the Ace of Cups again. At 442 is the Two of Cups. Closing the gap and ending the pain is no surprise for the Queen of Swords reversed and the King of Swords upright here. The Patient Angels at 444, which is angel energy. And I was reminded too, because 46 keeps coming up, that the 46 days is Lent from Ash Wednesday to Easter. And of course the children in the garden, which has to do with Easter. So closing the gap when pain is no surprise with this ending for the Queen of Swords reversed and the King of Swords upright, the Patient Angels, and the Ten of Pentacles, family, business, or legacy, or dealing with the country, and the inequity of not sharing, and the Hermit reversed over isolating, the Scrooge or hoarding mentality, and breaking patterns while they're doing that. The world completes a cycle as the Five of Swords is reversed post-war. No more flirting, healing, or forgiving. You are healing and forgiving. There's no more flirting because they're healing and forgiving. The Queen of Swords reversed and the Justice King of Swords upright. The Emperor was sealed divine feminine at 446, so there's that 46 again with the Emperor. Sunshine holding their tongue and rejected, vulnerable and shy, but with clarity at the full moon, on wings of angels, suffering in silence, exposed under the radar, passionate couple in the sunshine at a resort, free from spying and the inequity of the situation. or conflict over hanging out together with the Six of Cups. And then I was getting mitose and asunder, just randomly. Soon for the masculine is the Four of Cups reversed, starting over without wishing on a star, holding back desires. And then I was getting Texas Hold'em, being patient angels, healing and forgiving, offering a new life to the Hermit reversed, Virgo and Libra or Justice, and the Queen of Swords reversed and the King of Swords upright, present together in real life, implementing a plan to heal together. He seeing himself as the Emperor upright, which is the man of reason, walking away from the wounded warrior, choosing a new path. Depressed and defenseless to betrayal of to death do us part. So if they're married and have to leave a marriage, Dark Knight and Santa Claus met at last here. You deserve love came up and express your love. Soulmate and keep an open mind for the masculine. Around him or how he's seen is the Page of Wands reversed, removing the mask to bring the flame out. Inequity, debt, or not sharing a strategy. At the full moon, the Knight of Cups raises a drink and offers love to the Page of Wands reversed to remove his mask, evidence of our conversation at night. And that was at 5 a.m. this morning, which is the Hierophant, or just change and freedom and expansion with a lot of zeros behind it, which is that source energy contained by the human body. So the masculine needs to clear blocks around his own heart, being warm in the back cave, with the Hermit and Justice energy was coming up again, or Virgos and Libras, and the Queen of Swords reversed and the King of Swords upright, present in the now moment. Karmic completion came up in intuition, but even more so was abundance, and that again talks about Gaia and the Empress energy. The Queen of Wands is upright, as well as the Dark Priestess with the keys perhaps to the house, so that could be a realtor or something like that, or just somebody who's dropping off the keys. So the masculine's present to only one, their flame, hanging out, coming out, howling and tripping up lovers, the King of Pentacles and the High Priestess, which can be his own secret or his own psychic abilities. Present to the Ace of Cups, offer to the Queen of Wands for spreading rumors about lovers, the King of Pentacles and High Priestess, or the King of Pentacles' secret or psychic abilities. So it was like the masculine was offering the Ace of Cups love to the Queen of Wands, thanking her for spreading negative rumors because it actually ends up benefiting him. Present to flame, Six of Cups twins hanging out in the aftermath of a lightning strike. And that was at 5:05 to 5:06, which is the Hierophant or freedom and change energy, and then the Six of the Lovers. The Six of Cups twins hanging out. And then the 30 lashes came up with 16 strikes, because that's the 46 of Lent and sacrifice. So the 30 lashes and pieces of silver, 16 strikes of the tower, and then that equals 46. And then sacrifice was coming up, which I broke down the other day as say, cry, allow your temperature to rise, and then allow it to cool down, right? So you might get heated up, and then you let yourself cool down or ice. That is sacrifice. And then Lent, L-E-N-T. L is for love key, ear, nose, and throat. Vincent, Cyrano, and Adam, so you might want to think about that. Ears, nose, and throat. Vincent, Cyrano, and Adam, and Dumbo, Pinocchio, and Dopey. So L is the love key, and it was funny too because my brother's name is Leonard, so Len was coming up here too for Lent. Len toggling up, and he's really become so much shamany the past year or two. It's amazing. So the King of Pentacles and Akashic Records. Wait, what did I pass over? Nothing. So, okay. So the Lent was coming up as on loan until rebirth. And then Lilith and Eve plus Jesus toggle up. Okay, so it's like the three of the masculine with his karmic and the feminine energies all toggling up to resolve the karma for good this time. Okay, so the King of Pentacles and Akashic Records in debt to the Divine Feminine's heart in the E Tower, destined, fate, and Rapunzel who obviously needs her hair done. So at 516, which again is the 5 again, the change and freedom and expansion and the Hierophant, and then 16 of the Tower again, powerless and detox, the Emperor removes the mask, and Santa Claus takes off his hat. Geppetto, Pinocchio's dad, who's really a child at heart, and then Pinocchio came up. So information about him, it's from 1881, which is the 81, which is the end of karma, reflecting the moon 18. And Carlo Collodi's novel, The Adventures of Pinocchio, which occurred in a Tuscan village, so in Florence, Tuscany area. And then there was a 2000 TV movie. It's supposed to be a redo for Pinocchio. It was supposed to be Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke, but Julie was having throat surgery, all right? So her throat was blocked. So that's talking about feminines having their throat blocked. Alchemy destined and challenged by not getting passed off to someone else, like Pinocchio, like hoping that Geppetto won't pass him off to someone else because he wasn't a real live boy. No more wishing on a star, but now looking into the Divine Masculine's heart in the Batcave, complete with flame, after the storm, the cyclone actually, with wizard and all, came uprooting the Akashic records and throwing everything off balance in the Divine Feminine's heart at the E-Tower, who happened to be, right, Rapunzel in the E-Tower, who happened to be heading to Notting Hill to be a real live girl in front of a real live boy from Tuscany, asking him to love her with a gift of a Van Gogh. I don't think it was a body part. And then a quote from Van Gogh came up with a picture that said, what is done in love is done well. All right, so that's one of his quotes. The Queen of Cups in disconnect walks away after a fight, powerless in the alchemy of energetic exchange and detoxing fatum. Challenged by limiting risk out there in the world, the Emperor, with no more starry nights, removes his mask to reveal his boy, the Divine Masculine in the Batcave, present to flame, 1, 2, 3, jump, after the cyclone, exposing Akashics with wizard, no Ozzy and Harriet. Out of whack, Rapunzel grew her hair real long so Pinocchio could climb up to work out his new arms. Aha! That count. I knew you were trying to get in. Go count to 10 and begin again. 10 commands and 3 to wake up makes reunion of the waking dead of the beloved. And that ended at 555. Okay. So now we're on to the read in front of you. And the SIRIAN Starseed deck for this one was cut and dealt at 9, 18 to 19. Really 17 was there too. So we had the stars, the moon, and the sun. Well, that's cool, with the Hermit. So the Hermit and the stars, the moon, and the sun. The read was completed at 9:37, which is the Hermit and the King of Cups, unconditional love. So this one had major arcana of Indigo, which is the Magician, solar deity, the sun, reflection, the Hermit. Before the read was the Hanging Man, and after the read was Guidance, or the Hierophant, and the Tower. There were 4 swords, so a lot of swords in this read, 2 wands, 1 cup, and 1 pentacle. So mostly heady here, all about being stuck in their heads or just doing work that requires the logical mind or doing a lot of speaking. So the court cards here were the Knight of Swords. That was the only court card in the read. And then before the read, we had the King of Swords. After the read, we had the Queen of Wands. So we had the King of Swords, the Queen of Wands, and the Knight of Swords. And that could definitely be a father and son energy with the King of Swords and the Knight of Swords. Number-wise, we had the code line was all about pride in this read, and we had double 8s and double 10s. So that high vibration, and then double 8s of the masculine and feminine standing side by side, dancing between their own inner masculine and feminine and standing side by side, which then becomes the sideways infinity symbol when they're both balanced and dancing together. So pride comes up on the code line today. And the only number was 5 again. So 5 again is change, freedom, and expansion, as well as the Hierophant energies, which has a lot of different meanings. But the code line being about pride and change, because 5 is all about change, and it's the middle of the cycle. The 5 of Flames was coming up in the read as the expansion energy of conflict or games. And so the dance was coming up here with the H and the 8, the dance, or even the lap dance with the H, right? The two chairs sitting on top of each other. Bridge, the bridge makes it easier to toggle up, to expand. And then it was bringing up Jesus in the quarter moon, which literally lands on Easter from the 10th to the 12th. So that's what the pride is about, the resurrection here. So 8 and the strength, and the bridge and the gateway of the Mary Magdalene being the knight, the warrior, the good, the one who needs to speak up, the good fighter, and Jesus being helpless at the crucifixion at the quarter moon. So Friday the 10th is the crucifixion, and then Sunday the 12th is the is Easter. Okay, so that's the quarter moon. So the dance of the gateway of the Mary Magdalene aiding to toggle up in the ascension and resurrection of Jesus on April 10th to 12th. He is I, God, and Ma's debt expanded Jesus's pride, or perhaps caused more conflict to go on. All right. So something here about some of the masculines, maybe their mother's, maybe a health bill or something else. Maybe they're spending a lot on their credit card, and their son is their financial person. So somebody's mother may have run up their debt, and maybe a blow to the masculine's pride because they may have screwed them over, and it could be a mother or the kid's mother, so his partner or his ex. So he, being I, God, all of a sudden may be embarrassed in front of family. There may be pride issues here, whether it has to do with mother and money, or their partner and money, or embarrassments of other sorts, you know, falling on their face, falling from grace, or just embarrassing themselves, lacking faith. So we start this read. Oh, wait, first the numbers. Besides the number 5 was 4211, which is the 2 of Cups and Justice. 1010, I told you, is a very high vibration. And the 88. The 12 is the Hangman. The 45 is the 5 of Cups, the grief card, but also that hanging out the Y in the road, not letting go of the past. 78 is the 10 of Pentacles, the business, the family, the world. And the 24 is the Queen of Wands. 57 is the 3 of Swords. And 810 is 81, backed up by Source, which is the end of karma. Okay. So we start at the 4 of Swords. All right, so the 4 of Swords is upright. And then we have the Hangman here, the 8 of Pentacles or crystals here, and then the King of Swords is right underneath there. And he's reversed in this read. He was upright in the last read. The Queen of Swords was reversed. Now he's reversed. So pay attention closely. There's a lot of weird stuff that came up in this read. All right, sorry. So resting by the water in meditation, after hanging out in limbo at work, perhaps, the King of Swords reversed is not authentic here because he is reversed. Now this can be the Divine Masculine, but also can be any kind of professional advisor, police, military, all that kind of stuff. But right now can have a lot to do with financial advisors, tax accountants, and lawyers, things like that. The King of Swords definitely could be a lawyer, that kind of thing. And if he's reversed, he could be a cutthroat lawyer, you know, willing to lie and cheat and steal for you to win his case, you know. So the Ace of Cups is an outpouring of love suddenly. I was just getting blood when I said love. So actually someone was bleeding out in here too. So definitely someone's bleeding out. Ace of Cups with an outpouring of love suddenly. So someone may literally, like an old person may have died bleeding out. You know, they may have had a AAA rupture or something like that. So there's an outpouring of love suddenly, or sudden drama, or an epiphany, as the King of Wands reversed turns the other way, not the other cheek. The King of Wands and the King of Swords are both reversed, and the King of Wands has offered love to the King of Swords reversed suddenly, but they're both turned away from each other. The King of Swords is facing forward, and the King of Wands is upside down facing the other way. So the Ace of Swords reversed, perhaps delivering a specimen in the cup, or given back the ID at work, like so someone leaving work had to give back their ID, or they're giving in a crown for display, or sudden sword lifted from their hearts in the never-ending story of the wounded warrior, King of Wands reversed, or the King of Wands reversed suddenly offers love to the King of Swords reversed, but they turn away. Being tested for fatherhood, so someone might not know who the father is, so these could be friends who are both getting tested for the same baby, or a disease, which can be a venereal disease, but also just have to do with the virus and other types of diseases, or someone may be donating their sperm, or it's just a petri dish in a science lab, or offering communication, absolution, confession for a lie, or Scorpios mirroring each other, or giving back what was given to them with love. Or the King of Wands reversed suddenly offers love, and the King of Swords reversed refuses. The King of Wands is offering, King of Swords is refusing. Or the cup at the church or temple, etc., and the King of Swords reversed without anything to give today. Or won't share a drink with the King of Wands who's upset by it because there's no swapping spit right now. But the King of Wands reversed may be unhappy about that because they may be, you know, blood brothers, that kind of stuff. Or actual brothers or best friends, that kind of stuff, or a partner, or a parent, right? So the Five of Pentacles is reversed here, recovering in a practical way, at home, with and working to align, perhaps align with a block at work, perhaps, or again, mold is coming up here again. This has come up before, as well as radiation has come up before. So, but just in general, it was coming up about testing for leaks. So again, mold, radon, radiation, that kind of stuff was coming up here, but any machine that might have leaks in it. So that was coming up here. Frustrated completing a cycle. The Divine Feminine may have been right about something, or about dangerous levels, or just there's frustration at the full moon with the gate wide open and the pressure is on. Michael and Thoth may have concerns here. The Lobster's up in arms. Who let the dogs out? Or the dogs didn't do their jobs. How many times do I have to tell you about bleeding out on the table? Or acupuncture needles left in too long? Or someone bled out in surgery? Or a hit was performed? Or, and I have to say too, the movie I watched last night had, it was a comedy, but it had a lot of, you know, killing stuff in it. Because it was a comedy about a cop and his girlfriend and his relationship with her son, who has a really bad mouth. There's a lot of cursing in it. So if you don't, I'm not, you know, I'm not crazy about watching movies with a lot of cursing, and it wasn't the best movie in the world, but it was, you know, it was lighthearted and fun. But there was a lot of killing, you know, spoof killing. So there's a lot of blood and that kind of stuff. So sometimes when this stuff comes up, it's for real in the world, obviously, but it's also is picking up on movies people are watching. So if it doesn't affect you, then don't force it to fit, because it can be anything, or it just is out there in the world and it doesn't affect your life. So don't go into any fear about this. That's not the purpose. Okay. So again, like I said, or a hit was performed, and last night in the movie, there was a hit performed. So, and then I was getting at night when all the world's asleep again. The question runs so deep for such a simple man. Won't you please tell me what to know? I know it sounds absurd. Please tell me who I am. The sealed Divine Feminine, and ready for the reenactment of the crucifixion and resurrection. The gate is wide open, but the bull and lion can't get to her, the Divine Feminine. At 10:25 is the Wheel of Fortune, and the 25 is the Knight of Wands. Or literally, someone may have offered a Divine Feminine somewhere in the world, the dogs, like, so if there's some kind of criminal family where the Divine Masculine is involved, people around the masculine may have actually asked the masculine, do you want us to put a hit on the feminine? And that could have been real if it's a mob family, or it could have been a joke because they knew they were frustrated. So that was coming up. Something to howl at, right? Because we have the full moon. Or the Divine Masculine's having issues in surgery, and the Divine Feminine needs to get to him urgently, because, you know, there's a connection there. So sometimes when they're having trouble keeping their heart rate or their pulse up, for any of you out there who don't know that, it's important to get the feminine or the masculine to the hospital if they're going through that kind of issue. So I did the cluster of numbers in my two piles again today, and they both ended up with the devil in 15. So we're definitely dealing with a devilish full moon here. Or the Night of the Living Dead. Or the Divine Masculine needs her DNA for a transplant, or full moon pain, bleeding out, and betrayals around the world. Jesus comes full circle, 2020 years. Hindsight for the 1,000 years. Wasn't 1,000 going forward? Promised years of enlightenment after the 2,000 of what we just went through. So Hierophant comes up here, which is Taurus, religion, establishment, societal norms, marriage, sharing or settling out, and the Empress weak or an ego death, or Leo is out of control. And then I was getting Charlie Brown with Blockhead and Lucy are at it again. She gets, I was just getting, someone's got some explaining to do, and that came up the other day as well. So those kind of relationships are coming in. She gets her way when she wants to, right? Because she throws a fit. So Blockhead and Lucy are at it again, as well as Lucy and Desi. She gets her way when she wants to because she throws a fit, and that's very much the karmic energy. The Empress with out of control ego, or a Leo and cotton candy, or twins looking for handouts. Perhaps a matter of pride, and she just won't do it. Or twins are delivered, or gifting your old baby stuff to the poor. So it looks like there's a Taurus, and they're both upright, but it also looks like they're standing in judgment of those who they're giving to, or others are giving to, and they're judging them for giving to people like alcoholics and things like that. So there's a Taurus and Taurus, which could be an Empress and a religious leader, giving to the poor, or committing or commenting that some people have no pride in themselves or self-respect because they're calling them beggars. So somebody's saying that. Reconciliation came up here, and beneath that was love yourself first. The Divine Masculine sharing. It's like the masculine coming up sharing with others, right? Because they'll share with anyone. They are maybe sharing with alcoholics or those who are struggling with alcohol or depression, or somebody may have fallen off the wagon. But the powers that be don't like it. The Chariot's upright with the masculine bull exiting after getting screwed. Enough of this crap. And the Queen of Cups reversed is hanging out crossing toes at cross purposes with a distant cousin or family, finding peace of mind or a peaceful place to be. And this is where the other devil number came up. XV, and they both came up XV. And that can have to do with the X in creation as well. But that's not the co-creation, it's the X creation. Taking care of feet, or somebody might be getting a pedicure. Someone with their foot in his crotch or dessert, and that can definitely be a kid, right? Putting their feet all over the place. Or a nudge in the butt, or a sidekick of the horse, like someone trying to nudge someone in the butt with their foot to get along. A hostage tied up, holding their hair down, with Caterpillar 2 beside her wrapped up, light down by the riverside, when they set the truth aside, leaning on the stone pillar, or counting on them to cover you, or a female someone dies in the middle of sex, but toes and feet up in the air, or someone double-crossed their family. In the fall, they weren't being as affectionate, and now there is a sudden death. So there may be like an investigation as to why this person died. It might have been an accident or suicide, but of course there's an investigation. So someone's explaining that in the fall, they weren't being as affectionate as usual, but now there's a sudden death, perhaps passing out, or a hostage situation, or playing suffocation games at female's request and accidentally died, or this could be someone's last revenge on the masculine who would then be accused of their murder. One last screw, 2 bulls, and a dangerous game, and then I was getting Dangerous Liaisons, and if you haven't seen that one, you got to watch Dangerous Liaisons. That movie killed me. 1988. So again, here's the 88 and the 19 of the sun, and the time was 11:01, Justice and the Magician. Dangerous Liaisons was about, a bored, wealthy couple playing games with people's hearts. They would like bet each other who they could suck into their web. And the story was about this girl who literally dies of a broken heart. But, that doesn't tell you the whole story. But I haven't watched it. It was a long, long time ago. But it was a very heart-wrenching movie. So 2 Tauruses playing games with each other or with other people's lives because they're bored. So again, this is coming up around those 2 Tauruses I told you about already. They're upright, but they seem like they're standing in judgment of others. Spiritual careers, number 78 comes up for the masculine, and beneath that was time out, 37, which is the King of Cups, unconditional love. And 78 is that dream family. Letting go of emotional attachments, not expressing feelings of energetic exchange, delays in communications and travel, of course, as you all know. A message of love, or the Page of Cups, is recovering from exile, destitution, an injury or an illness, post-war in a painful death, or ending pain, with only Bambi to the rescue. So this is not where a child may be at risk, but a child may have found a dead body, which comes up here, or it could be a parent or someone delivering a child. So so there may be a painful ending here. It doesn't have to be a death. It could just be an ending of a relationship or something like that, or at work. But only Bambi comes to the rescue, or it could be a crash landing where the parachute or the space shuttle or Major Tom's come in for a landing, but choked. 2 cups in disconnect, and the Queen of Cups is reversed and upset in deliberations, or a child finds a body post-war in recovery. Green Hornet and the Green Berets both came up, or a child got lost or ran away, and the Queen of Cups can't find them, so they're obviously very upset and great dismay. Or a duel to the death. Someone is called out, or refused to hear the call to action, or missed a cattle call and lost a job or part or connection and maybe pissed at somebody else. Or someone choked on their words, or just choked in general, and the mothers in the neighborhood may have a head-to-head or no call, and perhaps there's a fight about it, and someone disappeared after that. Or arrested for not heeding the call, not hearing the call to prayer. So someone might actually get arrested for not obeying the general call to prayer. So PTSD is definitely coming up because we're post-war here, and looting that always happens post-war, so people trying to get one over on each other. The confusion in the aftermath causes brainwave disconnects, which is what I'm getting here. Or a delivery was a battle, talking about delivering a child, but they're finally disconnected, or a child survived but not the mother. The day the music died. Or after sex on the beach, someone at night at the full moon, someone who was weak passed peacefully in their sleep. And then spiritual career came up. So some of this stuff too could be old things that did happen, perhaps in some of the Divine Masculines' lives, and they're remembering this stuff. So it doesn't mean it's happening today or this full moon, but it's definitely coming up here. So spiritual career comes up again here at 78. So Capricorn times 2 upright here, and Scorpio upright and reversed. Cancer is upright times 2 as well. Pisces upright, but Aquarius and Leo are reversed here. And Taurus is upright times 2 as well. The Queen of Cups is reversed in 2 places, or maybe she's disoriented at 11:24, which is the Justice and the Queen of Wands. Or the Queen of Cups is reversed at the beach at night and was weak and may have drowned. Could have been a drinker or someone who was very depressed. Capricorn upright, Cancer upright, Leo reversed, and Aquarius reversed, perhaps may be involved in this. Recently is the Knight of Swords reversed, holding their tongue or verbally abusive, or a chronic liar. Choosing a new path, or the Knight of Swords reversed is angry that somebody else chose a new path, and starting over, detoxing at the full moon, standing up for self, taking the higher ground. Or someone fell off a cliff and is now perhaps accused of pushing them. So resting, meditating, prayer, sleeping, somebody perhaps lay to rest. The King of Wands is reversed, and the High Priestess or Viking Priestess could also be an Italian, someone who's Greek or Mediterranean, with a wealthy family losing money. Perhaps the Knight of Swords is pissed they didn't consult with him. Or they're telling him they're just going in a different direction, or they chose a different financial advisor, and the advisor may be pissed. And that was at 11:32. And that's Justice and the 6 of Wands, the Journeyman. The King of Wands is reversed, standing up for self, at peace with his decision about what he did, what he chose to do with the money. Perhaps consulted a psychic or his own psychic abilities, and neither are happy here. And this again goes back to the King of Wands reversed and the King of Swords reversed, whether they're partners or one is a professional. Could be all in the family as well. The foundation is the Two of Swords reversed, which is clarity coming in, right? So new information and clarity, but a decision still needs to be made. But now the information's here to make that decision. Clarity of the Ten of Cups, the Rainbow Bridge, the healing, the healer, the dreamer, the dreams come true, or Aquarius, Queen of Wands, looking the other way, impatient fallen angel, and jealous Knight of Cups reversed. Or the clarity of the happy family here consists of a star who's impatient, or a fallen angel, or a Sagittarius reversed, and a jealous Queen of Wands, or the Queen of Wands Aquarius with lots of haters. Or the Queen of Wands is the jealous Aquarius, impatient fallen angel, or there's envy and jealousy, or there's envy or jealousy of the so-called perfect family of the star and his Queen of Wands, or his trophy wife. The central energy is the Ten of Wands reversed, dropping burdens, responsibilities, dumping a load, or confessing. The Ten of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or legacy, or country, may have lost money or dysfunctional spending or dysfunctional attitude, and recovering from financial losses with help from a magician perhaps, and that can just be the country or the government helping out. But the magician frustrated, or those around them frustrated, and walking away. Somebody could be having a temper tantrum as well. Unhappy or dissatisfied customer, or a family spent a lot of money on recovery with now a major manifestation and childlike frustration, somebody stomping off like a child when they don't get their wish, when they don't get their way. Judgment for the plaintiff was just randomly coming up right there. Deliberations of two who are at each other, and a third who is caught in the crossfires. Indecision, poor judgment, choosing the X, or to clear Akashic records and wipe the slate clean with sovereign, with new passion and growth, or pushing ascension and or a bold move or travel, or offering sex to the gladiator or Cancer. The challenge being the Five of Wands reversed in a losing battle with no expansion, and the Queen of Cups reversed at home with no responsibilities, or they're hurt or disabled. The Knight of Wands reversed could be a player, or just they like sports, and there's no sports now. And the Page of Pentacles is coming up here as a good student. The Knight of Wands reversed could also just be falling short because they're not working, or of other people's expectations, or just holding back their desires. But there's foolish behavior here, tripping up at the full moon with the Seven of Pentacles upright and sleeping with the enemy without a leg to stand on. The evil Empress is upright. Sends the boy out. It's like, the Ten of Cups family sending the boy out. Go get some stuff for us. So like the errand boy is getting sent out for goods. Someone's, going out to get more supplies. They're running out, right? With the world complete, coming full circle, the 5D world in a bubble and walking away and within. The Knight of Cups is reversed. It can be jealousy, envy, like I said, someone who feels rejected or insincere, or someone who, schmoozes people to make everyone think that they love them so they can get their way with them. In dumping burdens on a Devil reversed or a Capricorn reversed, or dumping their burdens in a detox, or weight issues, jealousy issues, or the weight of the world on their shoulders. Now the Ten of Cups looks happy, but under the radar there's heartbreak and separation of the wounded warrior without options, and the Knight of Cups reversed, jealous, rejected, insincere, or a schmoozer. With the Queen of Cups reversed, or both the Queen of Cups reversed and the Knight of Cups reversed are just sad, and they can definitely be the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine, the Knight of Cups and the Queen of Cups. And this is at 12:02, which is the Hangman and the High Priestess. So the Knight of Cups reversed and the Queen of Cups, like I said, could be the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine, but they don't have to be. They can even be two older children. So at 12:02, the Hangman and the High Priestess, the wounded warrior without option, post-war, dealing with justice, divorce, or Libra, making a fool of themselves in front of the Ten of Cups family. Perhaps they chose a new path, but unable to implement that path at this time. The family may not have been happy with the path they chose. But Libra upright and Aries reversed came up here, as well as Cancer upright. No longer rejecting offers now, with clarity about the past pain and betrayal at night, with the Page of Pentacles student or opportunity to fantasize, as opposed to the negativity of the karmic or Aquarius who he was not seeing eye to eye with. Tripping up, getting pulled into playing ball and breaking patterns and dropping the facade, but also perhaps a Sagittarius drinker with attitude and white kiss hook, could be a potion maker as well, and this could definitely be a child or teenager too. But this Sag drinker is coming up with the evil Empress. That could be a mother and daughter team, or both the same that way. And then them magnetizing money or playing hard-boiled eggs. That could be coming up. They may be playing hardball with the masculine while he was hanging out, trying to recover from grief, loss, regret, guilt, and shame, trying to see another perspective and be wise before going forward in his dark night of the soul. And or 10 of Cups family may be sending him away for being a player or falling short of expectations. The Knight of Pentacles offering something practical to the Queen of Swords, exposing all about the world to the Queen of Pentacles, spying, and the Knight of Swords reversed holding their tongue, not taking children into account. The Knight of Swords reversed and the Knight of Cups reversed could be children acting up, or they could be grown-ups acting like children, dumping their burdens on a Capricorn, or dropping their responsibilities to detox addictions or break chains that bind. Soon for the masculine is the Seven of Swords upright, passing downloads of clarity and suffering in silence, stress, up at night, headaches, whatever it is, sleepless nights. I didn't sleep last night. Not for any bad reason. For some reason, I just couldn't go to sleep last night, or I didn't want to. But suffering in silence and reaping rewards, aligning with desires that overwork doesn't work. Being still now in order to gain clarity and reap rewards in deliberations, poor judgments, or choking up about the world, or completing a cycle or a project, or complete regarding the sealed divine feminine, sunshine, energized, kids, exposure, and the wounded warrior destined to school the goose and be rejected, or Aquarius reversed and the Page of Cups reversed, rejected, vulnerable, and shy, or spoiled and entitled. Or the sealed divine feminine Libra, Leo, or Pisces upright, wounded warrior, deeply wounded, but alchemizing, so turning that negative thing into something positive, or nickel into gold. Instead of deliberation, connecting around the world, complete, happy, and playing with kids to cheer them up, with enough information to make an informed decision now for the masculine. He's seeing himself as the indigo upright, proposing a crystal. Lovers in the midst of rumors. They could be prisoners of love as well, but in the midst of rumors and negative talk, or none at all, because there's silent treatment. 1228 is the Hangman and the Two of Wands, or the Twin Flames. Negative self-talk, silent treatment, spying and anxieties, fears, and prison. Soulmate comes up, attraction, stay optimistic about your love life, and separation. Falling short of group's expectations or holding back true desires from them. Around the masculine, or how he's seen, is the Ace of Pentacles reversed, holding back their time, money, and energy, and or new life or offer of money. At 1232, the Hangman and the Journeyman. It's like Jesus, it's the Hangman and the Journeyman is Jesus on the cross, and then Jesus getting down off the cross at resurrection, or at the, yes, at the resurrection. Sorry, I had to move my butt. Okay. So destined to come together, to co-create without conflict, to meditate in the 5D, and bring peace of mind. Finding peace at work by taking a break, instead of just working straight through all day, taking a break from rejection from people at work or customers or whatever it is, and or dealing with whiny children, especially if you're trapped at home working with those children, whiny and entitled children, allowing yourself that break from everything, away from everybody. And something that came up on this next page too was a reminder, this came up yesterday or the day before, that Leo, Aries, and Gemini especially were very affected in a negative way by this full moon, but Scorpio and Aquarius in a lesser sense as well. Destined to 5D meditation, finding peace and co-creation away from people who want to whine or are poor losers. And that's how it was coming up here off the cards. However, I'd like to change that to allow everyone to be entitled to their feelings, but just to resolve them on their own without taking it out on others. Speak up for yourself, but when you get triggered, Teach your kids how to go inward and find the trigger wound in order to heal it. Clear blocks divine masculines of exposure and sunshine, like worried about being exposed. The King of Pentacles and a High Priestess, or that's his own secret or psychic abilities, and recovering from grieving and letting go to repair and make amends. So allow it to be seen. Don't be embarrassed, okay? So there's full exposure of the wounded warrior and the 5D world, Akashic records, etc. Pride comes up here, but even more so for the masculine here was happy ending and to make an effort. The Queen of Wands and the King of Pentacles, superhero, chasing after the girls, and that can just be, you know, people at work or their own kids and that kind of stuff. It wasn't anything negative, really. It could be, but that's not the main energy there. But the Queen of Wands comes up here as undressing for the masculine with flame always there. So feeling exposed by that. So again, here's more issues about feeling exposed by the Queen of Wands. Or her trying on boots for the divine masculine, and he has taken his rose-colored glasses off. The Hermit is upright, and the King of Swords is reversed. And the King of Swords reversed, don't forget, could be that cutthroat lawyer who wants to make a killing or get away with murder. Or the King of Swords reversed could be leaving the group as well. So the Hermit's upright with the King of Swords reversed, who could be the same person. Present to risky business or running away. Taking thoughts and feelings and being insincere with them. Or just in negative self-talk, trying to take it all in at the moment. The King of Cups, the Emperor, and the Hermit are all in a group together here at the top. Also, the Hermit, there's another Hermit and the Hierophant and the Queen of Wands too. There's a whole cluster of people. And then there's the Knight of Pentacles with the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. There's like two little huddles there of groups. So it could be people getting together at work or at home for the masculine here. Groups talking about hanging out. The Knight of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, and the Queen of Pentacles. That could be one smaller group, not the bosses, but people under them, or wives, you know, to work things out, to expose romance, or people at work talking amongst themselves, or Hermit making sure they have a lawyer present, and this could be a cutthroat lawyer, to make sure they get away with it, getting off and walking away without a hitch. The Hermit is shedding light for the Emperor and the King of Cups, not allowing kids to be present there. Guidance or guidance counselors for kids at school or privately. And the Knight of Swords reversed and Knight of Cups reversed may need to get their heads on right. So they could be, like I said before, they could be kids getting into trouble, or they could be adults acting like kids getting into trouble, right? And they could just be abusing each other, right? Verbal abuse and physical abuse. Well, it's more emotional and verbal here. So it can be someone who's really whiny, manipulative, and the other one is verbally abusive. So needing to get their heads on right, or just giving each other the silent treatment. Perhaps kids getting into mischief, or a Hierophant and a Hermit, or a Taurus Queen of Wands, a Virgo, a King of Pentacles, or a Queen of Pentacles. So either one of those could be a Virgo or a Capricorn here. Imprisoned or suddenly anxious or in fear about what the Emperor and King of Cups are going to decide or do. Someone may have gotten caught stealing, or just feel like a financial advisor, your accountant, or your lawyers are robbing you, especially in the current situation. But just resting and meditating at the full moon with clarity, and the indigo preparing to offer something big. The Knight of Swords reversed may have dropped all their responsibilities and challenged by a losing battle or passing downloads in exposure of the Ten of Cups or emotional fulfillment of the Hermit or reflection, or the guidance, or the Hierophant, which is Virgo and Taurus, and the Queen of Wands, who may have sudden anxiety or may suddenly feel imprisoned or may suddenly go to prison out of nowhere as lightning strikes. All right, 107 is the Magician and the Chariot. So someone may just be hanging out or hung in limbo, but they could just also be hung out to dry. So the master may feel hung out to dry at work. The King of Swords reversed, meditating but holding their tongue, or they could be lashing out or doing both, with the Queen of Cups reversed, and the Two of Swords reversed with clarity here. New information or clarity comes in, enough to base a decision on, dumping a load and challenged by a losing battle. The Ten of Cups perhaps made him a fool, or made a fool of himself in front of the Ten of Cups family, or just embarrassed in general, whether it was in front of the Ten of Cups or not. And the Indigo passing downloads to the Hermit and planning new life exposure to the Hermit and the Hierophant. The Queen of Wands in fear, anxiety, or in fear of prison, or suddenly imprisoned out of nowhere. All right, so that comes up right up at the end. But that's it. So it's already 1:20, so I'm going to have to let you go there, but I'm going to show you the cards real quick. Okay, the underlying energy here is the Four of Orbs. Recent past is the Knight of Orbs. Foundation here is the Two of Orbs. Central energy is the Ten of Flames or Wands. The challenge being the Five of Wands. The other underlying energy, there's with the Page of Cups and the Queen of Cups reversed. And then you see underneath there is the Knight of Cups reversed too, which can be a mother and their two children upset, but the Page of Cups is upright. Okay, so crowning energy is that Ten of Cups family, which is upright. Going across the 40 bridge here to the Seven of Orbs, which is upright. Upright? I think it was. I'm sure I said whatever it was. It might have been reversed. I can't find it right now. But anyway, the masculine sees himself as the Indigo here, which is upright. And around him, or how he's seen, is the Ace of Crystals reversed today. The blocks he needs to work on has to do with exposure with the solar deity, which is upright. And pride there you see is the purple, the third eye. It's all about pride for the masculine. And the yellow, you see the yellow up there for the solar plexus. And also the Mary Magdalene buttercup yellow for the divine masculine. And we end there on the Hermit upright. And then we have the Hierophant, or the guidance card, upright. The Hermit's reflection, by the way. And then we have the Queen of Wands upright. And above that is the Eight of Swords. And then the Tower is upright above that. So that's that big explosion or sudden event. And the underlying energy there you see is the pink and the purple, which then also, the card colors kind of remind me of the cotton candy that came up in the read too. All right, so make sure you drink your water and get your rest, get your joy, get your nature, and rise and be loved, guys. That was you just hit 01-2201. Rise and be loved, guys. See you later. Bye.